There was a man the pirate king could not save, there was a curse even the hero of the marines could not reverse, and there is a power the world government fears more than death itself. At God Valley the world remembers Roger and Garp as heroes, but history lies because they did not win, they survived, they contained, they failed to save rocks D. Xebec, and that failure explains everything about chapter 1171. The real question is not who was stronger, the real question is why Roger and Garp could not save rocks. Why Loki was forced to kill a giant herald instead of curing him, and why Luffy will succeed where all of them failed. The answer is not strength, the answer is the nature of the devil fruits. Chapter 1171 introduces a terrifying concept, a phenomenon fans now call Domi reversification. This is not possession, this is not mind control, this is not death, this is inversion of will. A living being is turned into the opposite of what they represent. Freedom becomes obedience, protection becomes execution, legacy becomes erasure. This is not random. This is intentional. This is Imu's power. Imu does not rule the world with armies, Imu rules the world with concepts. When Nika liberates, Imu reverses. Imu's devil fruit is not darkness, it is not shadow, it is not destruction, it is absolute authority, a power that says your will is no longer your own. This is why Joy Boy terrified the world government. Not because Joy Boy could destroy the world, but because Joy Boy could restore it. The sun god Nika is not just rubber, he is liberation incarnate. His laughter breaks fear, his rhythm restores identity, his presence undoes curses. Joy Boy does not dominate reality, he reminds reality how to breathe. Now return to God Valley. Rocks D. Xebec was not just strong, he was reversed by the time Roger and Garp fought him. Rocks was no longer fighting for himself, he was a vector, a carrier, a herald of inversion. Roger did not fail to defeat Rocks, Roger failed to save him, because Roger's will conquers but it does not restore. Roger could defeat Rocks but he could not return Rocks to himself. Garp represents justice, justice punishes, justice protects order, but justice does not heal a stolen will. Garp could stop Rocks, he could not free him, and both Roger and Garp understood this. That is why God Valley was erased, not to hide a victory but to hide a failure. Now look at Elbaf, the same curse appears again. A giant herald is Domi reversified. Loki is forced to make an impossible choice. He kills the herald not because he wants to, but because strength cannot undo reversal, only liberation can, and Loki does not possess it. This is where Luffy changes everything. The giants are not asking Luffy to fight, they are asking him to save, because Gear 5 does not overwrite reality, it frees it. Luffy does not command wills, he releases them. This is why Emu fears Luffy. Emu does not fear defeat, Emu fears reversal of reversal. If Luffy saves Elbaf, then God Valley was not the end, it was the beginning of Imu's nightmare. Roger was too early, he found the truth but he did not have the fruit. He could hear the drums but he could not become them. That role waited 800 years for Monkey D. Luffy. Roger found the truth, Garp protected the world, but Luffy will save it because this time the curse meets its opposite, liberation. 800 years ago the world did not run on faith, it ran on understanding. The ancient kingdom did not fear devil fruits, they studied them, they understood something the modern world has forgotten. Devil fruits are not powers, they are ideas given form. Every fruit represents a concept, a belief, a direction of will. Fire is not just flame, it is passion, destruction, rebirth. Light is not speed, it is revelation, exposure, truth. And the sun god Nika is not rubber, he is freedom itself. The ancient kingdom discovered how to encode concepts into living reality. That is what devil fruits truly are. Emu did not create devil fruits, Emu hijacked them. The War of the Void Century was not pirates versus kings, it was liberation versus control. Joy Boy represented a world where people chose, Emu represented a world where people obeyed. That is why Emu's power is reversal. Emu cannot create, Emu can only invert. Now we return to the giants. Elbaf was never just a warrior nation, Elbaf was a failsafe. Giants have one unique trait no other race possesses, their will is communal. A giant does not exist alone, their identity is tied to history, honor and oath. This is why Domi reversification did not work on them for centuries. You cannot easily invert a will that is shared. To reverse a giant you must break their story. This is why the herald system exists. The heralds were not leaders, they were anchors. When a herald falls the story fractures. This is what happened in chapter 1171. The herald was not corrupted randomly, he was targeted because once the herald is reversed the curse spreads. Loki understood this immediately, that is why he killed the herald, not because he was weak but because he was logical. Loki knew strength could not cure inversion, honor could not cure inversion, violence could not cure inversion, only liberation could, and Elbaf had no sun god until now. This is why Luffy's arrival changes everything. Gear 5 does not attack the curse, it invalidates it, because liberation cannot be reversed. You cannot invert freedom. Once a will remembers it is free, authority collapses. This is the ancient kingdom's final weapon, not a battleship, not an army, not a super weapon, but a living idea. Joy Boy was never meant to win a war, he was meant to end one, and Emu knows this. That is why Emu erased the ancient kingdom. That is why Emu fears laughter, that is why Emu fears drums, that is why Emu fears Luffy, because if Elbaf is saved the world remembers, and once the world remembers control becomes impossible. The world believes. Gear 5 is power, that belief is wrong. Gear 5 is permission. Most devil fruits impose rules, they replace reality with authority. Fire burns, light moves, darkness absorbs, but Nika does not impose, Nika invites. This is why Luffy laughs. Laughter is not a side effect, it is the mechanism. Laughter breaks hierarchy, it dissolves fear, it reminds the body that it is alive. This is why Emu despises it. Fear is the foundation of control. Laughter destroys fear without violence. Gear 5 does not just change Luffy's body, it changes the environment. Reality becomes flexible, not because Luffy commands it, but because reality stops resisting. This is the secret of Nika. Nika does not bend the world bends itself. Now understand what this means for others. Every reversed being is trapped in obedience, their will is compressed, their identity is overwritten. Gear 5 does not fight, that overwrite, it creates space. When Luffy fights, others breathe. When Luffy laughs, others remember. This is why Luffy can save those who are reversed, not by force but by restoration. This is something Roger could never do, because Roger inspired but he did not liberate. Roger showed the truth, but truth alone does not free the enslaved. Freedom must be felt. This is why the drums of liberation matter. They are not music, they are rhythm. Rhythm is life, rhythm is memory, rhythm is identity. When the drums sound, the body remembers. It was never meant to kneel. This is why the giants respond to Luffy. Giants live through stories, through rhythm, through repetition. Their festivals, their songs, their battles, all are rhythm. Nika does not clash with giant culture, he completes it. This is why Elbaf is the proving ground. If Luffy restores even one reversed giant, the curse collapses, not just on Elbaf but everywhere, because Imu's power relies on permanence. Once reversal is shown to be temporary, authority loses its divinity. This is why Emu cannot allow Elbaf to be saved, not because Elbaf is strong but because Elbaf remembers, and memory is dangerous. The world believes the Void Century ended with defeat, that belief is false. The Void Century ended with containment. Joy Boy did not lose. Joy Boy was delayed. The ancient kingdom realized something too late. Emu could not be destroyed because Emu was not just a ruler. Emu had become a system that fed on obedience, a system that survived through fear, a system that inverted meaning itself. This was Emu's original sin. Emu did not conquer the world, Emu convinced the world it needed to be ruled. That belief is stronger than any army. The ancient kingdom tried to fight, they failed. They tried to expose the truth, they failed. So Joy Boy made a final choice. He did not try to win, he tried to preserve the future. The poneglyphs were not warnings, they were seeds, messages not meant for that era, but for the right will. Joy Boy knew liberation could not be forced, it had to arrive naturally. This is why Joy Boy laughed. Laughter was his defiance. If Emu ruled through fear, Joy Boy would rule through joy. The Void Century ended not with destruction but with patience. Emu erased the kingdom, but could not erase the idea. That idea waited in stories, in songs, in giants, in drums. Now understand why Joy Boy did not return, because returning too early would repeat the past. The world was not ready. Roger learned this at Laugh Tale. That is why he laughed, that is why he surrendered, that is why he chose execution. Roger did not fail, he passed the torch. Now the final stage begins. Elbaf is not just a battlefield, it is a memory vault. If Elbaf falls, history is sealed. If Elbaf is saved, history wakes. Emu knows this, that is why Emu moves now, that is why the curse threads, that is why the herald was targeted, because this is the final delay. Joy Boy is here, the drums are beating, the world is listening, the world expects a final war. That expectation is wrong. Emu will not fall by death. Emu will fall by exposure because Emu is not sustained by power. Emu is sustained by belief, the belief that authority is natural, the belief that obedience is safety, the belief that freedom is chaos. Luffy destroys none of these beliefs by force, he invalidates them by existing. When Luffy saves Elbeth, the impossible becomes visibly reversed, will restore the curse underneath godlike power rendered temporary. This is the moment Emu truly fears not defeat but proof, because once the world sees reversal can be healed. Emu is no longer divine, just a ruler who lied. The giants of Elbeth are the final test. They are ancient, they remember before the world government, they remember before the lie. If even they kneel, Emu wins forever. If even they are saved, the world awakens. This is why Luffy does not arrive as a king, he arrives laughing, because laughter spreads faster than fear. When one giant laughs again, others follow. When one nation remembers, others question. This is how Emu falls, not by rebellion but by refusal. The One Piece was never a weapon, it was never treasure, it was never gold, it was confirmation that the world was once free and can be again. Roger laughed because he understood he was too early. Luffy will not laugh at the end, he will laugh during it, because liberation is not an outcome, it is a state. The final enemy is not Emu, it is forgetting, and Luffy will make the world remember. The drums will not stop, the laughter will not fade, the sun will rise. This is not the end of One Piece, this is the end of control. End of documentary series.